here we can see the question is basically ask us to input three things. The first thing is the number, like n number of n space separated integers that describe arrays, n number of the array, and then we take the input of the d, the number of the left rotations to perform, like how many digits to rotate on the left, and then the output is the after the rotation. In the input, the second line contains each element separated integers that describe array A. So we can input n number of each element of the array. And now here is the function we need to write the code. Okay, so first we forget about the code. We just see the algorithm. Right? Let's see the logic. We can just take this as an example. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is inputted array. And then as the user's example, when d is equals to 4, that means we remove for 4 digits. So why it is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, we can take one example, like as I have already wrote here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we need to move 4 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like we take the end, the last element 5 as the example, and then we move towards left for 4 digits, then 5 is going to become the third position in the new array. And then on the second part, what is going to be is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, because for the rest of the elements, each one will rotate for 1 digit on the right to leave the space for 5, right? So this is the case. And then as I already written here, like when d is equals to 1, then I think it's going to be very easy. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if d is equals to 1, that means we just need to move 1 digit towards left. We start from the last element 5. Then in this case, 5 is going to be here. Okay, so then when 5 is here, then what is going to be the last digit is going to be 1, right? Because 1 automatically is going to be shifted at the last to fill the space. So that's why for the rest of the digits is going to be as regular as 1 is going to be 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so keep as the same. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Last in extra is 1. That's why we can just take a note here. When d is equals to 1, then yeah, it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1. And then similarly, when d is equals to 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the third example is when d is equals to 2. Then in this case, and then we move it for 2 digits, because our example is when d is equals to 2. Then 5 is going to be on this position, right? What about this 2 space? It's going to be 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2 here. And then because it doesn't affect like 3 and 4, so we can just write 3 and 4 here. Then like the result is going to be 3, 4, 5, right? And like for 2 parts, the first part is 3, 4, 5, and second part 1, 2. Now based on these 3 examples, probably we can try to think about the regulation or the formula. So what is going to be the formula? The new array is going to be containing 2 parts. Think about the formula. We can just write here, like it's starting from the 5th position, like 5th position until the end, and end is itself. So like in this case, because it totally have only 5. And then for the second part is it starts from the beginning. It work until the first position, right? Right. So now we can just think about the relation between this with the d with d. So here like maybe 5, what's the relation? Like 5 is d plus 1 plus 1, right? So like this is d plus 1 until the end. And then for the second part, it starts the beginning would be let's just write it as begin, and then until d, here is d minus 1, right? D minus 1. And yeah, so this is basically the formula. And also like I think it can probably apply for the second. Why? Because like in the second case, like it starts from the 2 and the d is equals to 1, so d plus 1 is 2, right? It starts from the 2 and until the end. And then in the second example, for the second part, in the second example is 1. 1 is beginning, yeah, until d minus 1, that means 0, right? So it should be itself. And then for our third example, in the first part, like we try to apply this formula, like it starts from 2 plus 1 means 3 here, correct? And then it ends until the end means 5, and then begin is 1, right? And then until okay, sorry, maybe I should write 2 in avoid to get confused, it to become minus. Okay, yeah, 2. Okay, so here let's continue. So the beginning is 1 and until to d minus 1 means 1 minus 1 means okay, so here's somewhere a little bit confused. To d. Okay, I got it. I made a small mistake. I think here instead of d minus 1 it should be d itself, right? Right, so that's why it starts from 1 until 2. Yeah, until 2, and it also include 2. It includes 2. So yeah, and that's why when d is equals to 1, like here it would be 1. There won't be anything related to 0, no confuse, right? So so that's why we can think about this formula, but because our array now is very important. It's very important. Our array it starts from 0 instead of 1. So here if we want to write the code in Python, something, right? So like whatever it is d, I'm sure you know it is actually in the d plus 1 position, right? You understand? So that's why we can just, in order to write the array, probably we can just kind of to process the formula, this one. Okay, so maybe we can write here. So like in the case of the array, it's going to be array d, from array d until array like end, right? That is for the first part. And second part, array 0 for the beginning until array here, very important, d minus 1, right? So we need to remember that there is one formula in Python. It is actually we can, like, instead of end or 0, like we can just directly write d until, and then we leave we just leave a space, so automatically it will recognize about the end. And then similarly, if we leave a space, we leave empty for the starting, so it will automatically go to the 0 index, right? And here is d minus 1. Yeah, d minus 1. Oh, but there is one thing very important. Like here, if we write like probably I will show you. Don't worry about here. Maybe you just be aware about here. And then now let's start to think about the code. Here array, like okay, we can see as whatever we have written. Yeah, like here is d, and then like it is 2 parts. So here this symbol means to connect it together. Okay, it is just my own symbol, you don't have to worry. So in the code we can write plus to combine them. Okay, here plus array. Okay, so now it's gone. And then in this case we can, like, it is supposed to end at the index of d minus 1, but because in this kind of the code, it doesn't include like the last digit, like the index d itself, array d itself is excluded. So that means it will not count automatically. It will, if we write d, automatically it will count until d minus 1 itself. So that's why here, that's the reason why here we should write d, right? And then at the end, because we need to have a briefly look about the code here, because it is what do you say, it will go through this function, right? Result equals to something, and then here it print out the result. So that means the result is going to be an array itself. We don't have to print anything on the function itself. And then how to, but this code doesn't make sense, right? So in this case we need to return it, TURN. Okay, so that's the thing. Let's check the code. Yeah, it works. And then yeah, it was a success. Oh, happy that I got the second start. Anyways, thanks so much for listening my explanation plainly, and if it's possible, please subscribe my channel so that I would have more motivation to make more useful and helpful videos.